Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 106, celebrating our 2-year anniversary. I'm John Cooney, here to talk to you about comics released the 5th of February, 2014. Beginning as usual with my first 5, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Detective Comics number 28. Welcome to Gothtopia. Die happy. The Scarecrow makes the ultimate bid for control of Gotham City citizens, so why is everybody so happy about it? Nothing is as it seems as the strange gets stranger in Gothtopia Part 2 of 3. Series writer John Layman, who will conclude his run on Detective with this Gothtopia arc, shared his influence for the story. Quote, I think if Gothtopia is influenced by anything, it's Dark City, which is essentially the same movie as The Matrix, but better in my opinion. Similarities will become even more clear in Detective 28, though I swear I wasn't trying to rip the movie off. Close quote. He went on to tell more about the story, quote, My Gothtopia story has 3 distinct arcs, and I think the story is probably going in a direction people will not expect. The reveal of the villain is just the twist of the first issue. What he's got ultimately planned is the next twist, which readers will find even more surprising, close quote. At number 2, we've got Forever Evil number 5 of 7. With everything to lose, Lex Luthor and his Injustice League raid the stronghold of the crime syndicate with consequences so devastating the DC Universe will never be the same. Series writer Jeff Johns described writing the crime syndicate, quote, With the crime syndicate, I think the best thing about writing them for me is that they're almost a different breed of villainy. They're very grim characters and they're very twisted. Again, they come from a place where things are valued differently, and David Finch captures them perfectly in Forever Evil. Ultraman is not an evil Superman, he's a Superman who believes in power and strength. Strength is the most important attribute above everything else. If you're strong, and you're the strongest there is, that's all that matters, and that's how Ultraman views everything. The fact that there was a being that destroyed Krypton and that ravaged his Earth and could possibly come to ours, he actually is worried in the back of his head that there's something out there that's stronger than him. His motivation is to shore this world up and prepare for war. And Ultraman's a perfect example of the absence of empathy. Complete absence of empathy. He comes to our world and he sees things like soup kitchens and homeless shelters, and he sees us taking care of the sick, and he does not understand it. Why do we waste our time? In his mind, we're keeping our gene pool weak, and that all points to his paranoia about our world not being ready to fight or strong enough to survive an attack. Close quote. At number 3, we've got New Avengers number 14, The Secret of the Black Swan. Series writer Jonathan Hickman spoke about his plans for the Black Swan in New Avengers. Quote, One of the things that happened in New Avengers because of Infinity is that we really pushed the entire series back 4 or 5 issues. We had to because of what was going on in the larger story between all the books. The stuff you're about to get was originally going to happen a little bit sooner. You'll get a whole bunch of Swan and the broader elements that we'll be using, like the map makers. They're going to matter a lot for the next couple of years. Close quote. Editor Tom Brevoort stressed the importance of New Avengers. Quote, I've said this since we launched, and I don't know what people always take me seriously when I say these things, but New Avengers is the most crucial book to what is to come that we are publishing right now. Avengers is important too, but New Avengers is phenomenally important. There's a lot of hyperbole about a lot of things since it's comics, and that's what we do. But genuinely, a few years from now, people are going to look back and go, oh yeah, New Avengers, that was important. I better go back and read all those back issues, collections, and digital copies. I wish I'd been following all along. Close quote. At number 4, we've got Loki, Agent of Asgard number 1, Old God, New Trickster. Kid Loki all grown up, and the God of Mischief is stronger, smarter, sexier, and just plain sneakier than ever before. As Asgardia's one-man secret service, he's ready to lie, cheat, steal, bluff, and snog his way through the twistiest, turniest, and most treacherous missions the All-Mother can throw at him, starting with the heart-stopping heist on Avengers Tower and the death of Thor. And that's just the beginning. Would we lie to you? This is Loki, true believer. We're lying to you right now. Series writer Al Ewing discussed Loki's transition from Kid Loki to Teen Loki in Young Avengers and now Young Adult Loki. Quote, Well, there's adulthood and there's adulthood. Loki isn't the old self, emphasis on old, that he used to be. He's as adult as, say, Kate Bishop, a young man of stolen wealth and varied taste with the universe as his oyster and a penchant for black nail varnish. So we're stripping that story right back to the basics and giving him at least an illusion of a fresh start. Back to the core of a trickster, the mischief maker. Close quote. He also explained how the character's development has influenced the setting. Quote, "It's set much more in the world of Midgard. One of the recent evolutions of the character is that he's come to enjoy living amongst the mortals as much as his brother does, and will be carrying that on. I feel it's nice to mix the two styles, get a good helping of the epic fantasy of Asgard, while at the same time sticking to the espionage con artist genre. Two great tastes that taste great together." Close quote. And at number 5, we've got X-Men number 10 Point Now. All new sisterhood. The X-Men have taken down supervillains, aliens, and their own future selves, but never all at the same time. Lady Deathstrike has put together an all-new sisterhood, her own Illuminati, to take down the X-Men and take over the world. Recruiting the likes of Typhoid Mary and Enchantress, her cabal go on a global hunt for the most powerful of them all, an enemy who holds the X-Men responsible for her almost destruction. Meanwhile, M settles in, and Rachel comes to terms with her relationship with Sublime. Incoming artist Chris Anka, who works primarily as a prop designer for Nickelodeon's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated series, shared his thoughts about moving into work in comics. Quote, "Comics have always been this sort of sacred medium to me because it's one of the few things I was actually into as a kid, so my apprehension towards doing interiors was that I never wanted to ruin the illusion for me. I never felt worthy enough to contribute to something that held such a strong place with my childhood. I tried my hand at a short story for Pop Gun back when I was still in high school as just an experiment. I didn't really try my hand at any other sequential work until the fill-in issue of Guarding the Globe, which again was an experiment for me. I wanted to see how well I adapted doing sequentials all these years later. Also, working on an issue for a Robert Kirkman series is a hard offer to pass up. But once Marvel editor Nick Lowe reached out to me, wanting to hire me to do work for him at Marvel, he was very persistent about getting me to do interiors. Doing covers was more a consolation gig because I wasn't ready to work on pages just yet, although ever since Nick has been very accommodating with me with my schedule and my apprehension about doing interiors." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Invincible Universe number 10. Welcome to the wedding of Knockout and Kid Thor. Even with everyone in the Invincible Universe invited, there are bound to be some party crashers. At number 7, we've got Black Widow number 3, The Finely Woven Thread Part 3, Foliage. She's the kind of woman you call when you need to escape from a South American prison. Don't miss the book everyone is talking about, and it isn't even out yet. At number 8, we've got Punisher number 1. For years, the Punisher has waged a war on crime in New York City with an array of very large guns, but a lead on a major source of drugs, weapons, and more has set his many sights due west. Now Frank Castle is in the City of Angels, looking to give the devil his due. Things aren't all they appear, though, with the highly trained military hit squad hot on Frank's tail. Caught between a posse of Punisher predators and targets of his own one-man war, Frank's manifest destiny may be a shallow grave. At number 9, we've got Mighty Avengers number 6. The Falcon is on the hunt, and what he finds will rock the Mighty Avengers to their core. Meanwhile, Luke Cage and Adam Brashear, aka the Blue Marvel, sit down and talk about dead presidents, old mistakes, and family ties. Guest starring Iron Fist. And at number 10 from Dynamite, we've got Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 1. The Gold Key universe begins here. Classic characters by some of comics' hottest creators, Magnus, Solar, Turok, and Dr. Spectre. Dynamite is proud to present an all-new adventure ongoing from superstar Greg Pak and incredible artist Mirko Kolak. Shunned from his tribe, a young Native American named Turok fights to survive, making a lonely life for himself in the unforgiving forest. But his hard-won cunning and survival skills face the ultimate test when man-eating thunder lizards attack his people. Why are dinosaurs here? How have they survived? And will Turok use his abilities to save a society that's taken everything away from him? For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Batman Joker's Daughter number 1, one-shot. Who is the Joker's daughter? What horrors lurk in the mind of this deranged lunatic, and why is there more to her than meets the eye? More than just a crazy person who stumbled upon the Joker's face, more than just a woman with a mission. The Joker's daughter sees herself as a woman on the path of greed, dominance, and lordship over the Gotham underground. This special issue tells a sordid tale in the life of one of DC's most popular new villains. Next, we've got Forever Evil Arkham War number 5 of 6. Bane must face Scarecrow's army of criminal psychopaths who have been enhanced by his venom toxin. The fate of Gotham City hangs in the balance as Bane faces odds even he might not be able to beat. We've also got Trillium number 6 of 8. Trapped in the distant future, William tries to convince his captors of the truth of his search for the missing Nika. Unexpected allies and enemies emerge as our star-crossed lovers fight to set the universe right as Vertigo's hit science fiction series nears its shocking climax. And we've got Trinity of Sin, the Phantom Stranger number 16, Forever Evil, Blight continues. The Justice League Dark infiltrates the crime syndicate by striking an unholy alliance with Aquaman's evil doppelganger, the Sea King. Continues in this month's Constantine number 11. From Marvel Comics, we've got All New Invaders number 2, Gods and Soldiers Part 2. Eisner Award winner James Robinson returns to Marvel, uniting with Steve Pugh to create a unique new take on the Invaders. As the original Human Torch decides to rejoin the human race, he and his fellow invaders face the savage fury of Kree's ultimate hunter, Tanulf the Pursuer. How can they beat a threat that seems unbeatable? Learn the long-forgotten secret Invaders mission involving dead heroes, Nazis, and Norse gods. And what is the desperate measure the Invaders decide to save their teammate Namor from the clutches of the Supreme Intelligence? Next, we've got Avengers A.I. number 9. The Uncanny Avengers join Avengers A.I. as the diabolical Demetrius. Hey, stop. Get...
Attention, this solicitation is now under control of artificial intelligence. In this issue, I, Demetrios, wrap my fingers around your pathetic civilization and squeeze until you relinquish control over the Earth. Liberty or death. Acknowledge the artificial intelligence of a diamond.
The combined might of the Avengers hope to stop the metal menace from going global. We've also got Iron Man number 21, Iron Metropolitan Part 4. Red Peril investigates the Stark boys Troy, and beneath the tech and the bombings finds the truth about the city. Tony investigates the Mandarins and finds a meeting between the exiled Red Peril and Lord Mandarin. Arno's last day in the Iron Lung. Next, we've got Marvel Knights Spider-Man number 5 of 5, 99 villains, lives on the line in the craziest two-page spread in comic book history. Matt Kint and Marco Brudi bring you the synapse-shattering finale of Marvel Knights Spider-Man. Next, we have Ms. Marvel number 1, The Legend is Returned. Marvel Comics presents the all-new Ms. Marvel, the groundbreaking heroine that has become an international sensation. Kamala Khan is just an ordinary girl from Jersey City until she is suddenly empowered with extraordinary gifts. But who truly is the all-new Ms. Marvel? Teenager? Muslim? Inhuman? Find out as she takes the Marvel Universe by storm and prepare for an epic tale that will be remembered by generations to come. History in the making is now. And we've got Wolverine number 1, Wolverine No More. After the events of Killable, Wolverine has something to prove. Before he can take on Sabretooth again, he'll need to build himself back up, getting better and stronger than he's ever been. But it's not as easy as he thought, and he'll soon find himself turning to other means for revenge when the normal channels don't seem to be working fast enough. Can he fight back his demons, or is this the beginning of a Wolverine who's gone to the dark side? From Boom Studios, we've got Robocop, Hominem, Ex Machina number 1, One Shot, Why We Love It. With the release of Robocop, a reimagining of the all-time classic, fans of the new and old will be immersed in the action, oppression, and humanity that is Robocop. We cannot wait to be first in line for the new motion picture event. Why you'll love it? 4 anthology-style one-shots exploring the world of a new film, brought to you by some of the freshest voices in the industry. Joe Harris, Frank Barbieri, Ed Brisson, and Michael Morici. What it's about? After a series of successful campaigns that cripple a portion of Detroit's criminal activities, Robocop's system inexplicably goes down. While Robocop's consciousness remains, his control is gone. We've also got Robocop Last Stand number 7 of 8. The Robocop of old Detroit is gone. In his place stands the last hope for this dying city. With an army of Automo unleashed, he may not survive the night. While the Battle of Detroit rages, facts must come face to face with Marie's legacy. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Michael Avon Oeming's The Victories number 9. Following clues left behind by the world's most powerful superhero, Faustus is on a mission to stop the covert organization terrorizing the world. But when Lady Dragon gets in the way, the Victories suffer another loss for the greater good. We've also got the Star Wars number 5 of 8. Remember the scene in Star Wars where the Sith Knight traps General Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Anakin Starkiller, and the alien Han Solo, and they have to fight their way free and steal an Imperial starship? No? That's because this is the Star Wars, based on George Lucas's original rough draft screenplay. Experience a Star Wars that never was. And we've got Terminator Salvation, the Final Battle number 3 of 12. John Connor and his army of human resistance fighters have finally brought the battle to the machines, but a desperate chase is unfolding in the past that could render their valiant efforts futile. The fates of Skynet and John Connor revealed. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Twilight Zone number 2. Wall Street magnate Trevor Richmond has succeeded in finding a way to avoid going to prison for embezzling millions from investors. He has a new life, a new name, a new face, and a new past. No one can ever come looking for him. It's everything he could possibly have asked for until he discovers that someone else is moving into the life he abandoned and thought would simply fade away. Someone who lives in his house, his life, with his name, his lover, and worse still, his own face. A total stranger has stolen everything he is, was, and hoped to be, and he's not about to let that theft go unanswered, no matter what it may cost him. From Image Comics, we've got Sidekick number 5. For weeks, supervillain Julia Moonglow has been feeding off the body and energy of Barry Flyboy Chase while keeping him from remembering this. Now she's ready to let him remember, and reveals why she's been stalking him and the fate of her late twin sister. But that's just the warm-up for the big reveal, as Barry learns for the first time that the Red Cowl may be alive, a discovery that shatters him down to his very core. Out in trades this week, we've got Locke and Key Volume 6, Alpha and Omega hardcover. The shadows have never been darker, and the end has never been closer. Turn the key and open the last door. It's time to say goodbye. Omega and Alpha, the final 2 storylines of the New York Times best-selling series, are collected together to offer a thunderous and compelling conclusion to Locke and Key, an event not to be missed. From Valiant, we've got Harbinger Volume 4 Perfect Day trade paperback. Nightmares are just dreams too. It's been a brutal few months for Peter Stanchek and the Renegades, culminating in the harrowing events and losses of the Harbinger Wars. But now the members of the team have woken up to the best day ever. As Lou Reed sang, it's just a perfect day, problems left all alone. But for Peter Stanchek, a kid who deserves a good day, something seems off, like all is not what it seems. Collecting Harbinger number 15 through 19 by New York Times best-selling writer Joshua Dysart and all-star artists Barry Kitson and Clayton Henry. Start reading here with the mind-bending story arc that Comic Vine calls an excellent jumping-on point. And from DC, we've got DMZ Deluxe Edition Volume 1 hardcover. The first 12 issues of Brian Wood's acclaimed series are collected in hardcover for the first time. In this near-future epic, photojournalist Maddie Roth lands a dream gig following a war journalist into the heart of the DMZ. Things soon go terribly wrong, and Maddie finds himself lost and alone in a world he's only seen on television. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books that are out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.